I am talking today to Freddie Peyrel with Quiltt. And let's actually start, Freddie, by talking, give me 30 seconds on what Quiltt is, what you do, what problem you solve.
So Quiltt is a senior living communication and engagement platform. It has features that can help residents, family, and staff members. At the core of our mission is really to help build stronger communities. The things that we believe that stronger communities are really built by building trust and transparency, which can really only happen if there's effective communication.
So let's talk a little bit more about how that communication works.
Mm-hmm.
So communication means to me text messaging, video calls like Zoom or FaceTime, or of course, best communication of all is face to face, which would be terrific, right?
Yeah, I think communication really involves it means something different to a lot of different people, right? So I don't think it's just face-to-face communication or telephone or voice communication. But I think communicating what is happening around the community, communicating, what are people having for lunch? What's on the activity calendar? Is mom eating? How's mom feeling? Communicating to staff, whether or not a fall has happened in a room or something. So just communicating information that is pertinent and relevant to each of the different stakeholders. In fact, when we think of communication, it's really, to sort of steal it from medicine in general, is the 5 rights of communication. So we like to think about, reaching the right person at the right time, using the right medium with the right information in the right place, right? So that could be reaching them on their mobile device through a mobile app. It could be putting information onto a television in room for residents to access. It could be a web app that family members access, or staff members access to control what information is going out. So there's a bunch of different ways to share that information, and how we reach the right person with the right information, I think is critical. And that's what the entire platform is sort of built around.
So in some sense, what you really do, and this is maybe only a part of it, but if somebody comes up to me and says, how's your mom doing in that community? I'm going to be able to say, here's how she's doing, because I've talked to mom. I know where she's at. I know the kinds of activities that are going on, and I know from the community about what else is going on.
I know the activities that she's attended, right? So they can track the attendance for different activities. We know what's coming up. We could provide the ability for them to track attendance for different meals as well. So there's other things to sort of see historically how mom has been doing, what she's been up to, but then also forward looking sort of conversational starters, right? When I call mom and see that I don't know, cribbage is on for this afternoon. Mom, are you going down to the activity room for the cribbage game or not? Right. So
terrific. And so you're in a space where there are a number of competitors. What makes Quiltt better?
Yeah, I think
the best. Maybe I want to ask that, right?
Yeah. So I think what makes Quiltt the best is our simplicity. And when I think about simplicity, it's kind of at 3 different levels. So we can talk about the simplicity of getting started and how easy it is for communities to get started. The usability of it. We think we have a really intuitive and modern interface. So usability it's just intuitive, right? It doesn't require a lot of training and hand-holding to get up and running. And then I think most importantly for communities is simplicity from a billing perspective, and kind of the economics of it. And we can, happy to dig into all 3 of those if you want.
Perfect. Well, I do think that I want to actually talk a little bit more about the simplicity of getting up and running and using
Sure.
day to day, because I think that this is one of the great challenges that I see in senior living is that people don't count the cost of staff time
Yep.
to use and maintain a platform, right? And that
Yep.
becomes super important.
Absolutely. So, for getting started, I guess we think about it from a couple of different viewpoints. One, I think what you've highlighted, the cost of getting staff up and running. But prior to that, it's just the onboarding cost for a lot of different software solutions. Sometimes they have significant, upfront setup fees, significant, commitments from, a duration of time. There's a lot of sort of
Yeah.
consideration before anybody ever signs on the dotted line and gets going, right? For us, we've got a completely free version. People could go on today, they could sign up for a free version of Quiltt, get a lot of the basic features that we offer, and they could keep it running forever like that, free forever, no cost, no nothing. And it's just a really simple, simplified version of it so that they can start to get their feet wet and understand what it can do and how they can utilize it throughout their community. We think this is really important when you look at some of the other software solutions that are out there and the upfront considerations. There's a huge financial risk associated with, do I commit to this, and is it going to really solve all the problems that I have or not? If I sign and start, I may be in a 3-year commitment, and I'm no better off at the end of 3 years than I was before, right? Just
Yeah, and if you spend all that money going into it, right, you're even if you don't like it very much, you're stuck with it, right? So, I actually, it's a model I actually, I really, really like the model of free to try a basic service, but fully function. I mean, probably most famous in the whole world for doing that with great success is Dropbox, right? So
yeah.
it's like Quiltt is the Dropbox of senior living in some sense, at least from a business model
Yeah,
perspective.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, another one that we utilize, is something like Slack, right? So you've got this ability to talk to different team members through your organization,
Mhm.
but they have a free version that doesn't cost anything. But if you want to have that sort of that historic record and be able to upload more stuff, then there's additional costs associated with that.
Yep.
And the same
Yep.
thing for Quilts. I mean, you could sign up today. You got a lot of basic features. You could do the emergency messaging. You could do calendar planning. You could do, post different media. There's a mobile app that everybody can use. All of that's available. And it's not just a limited time trial, right? They could sign up and they could use it indefinitely. And
Yeah.
and when we
Well,
start, I I don't know what your sense is, but when we look at this across kind of all of senior living, we think that these communication platforms, these engagement platforms, have probably been adopted by less than 20% of the communities across the industry. So there's a huge number that have not even started to adopt it, and maybe that's because they feel they don't need it. Maybe they feel like it's too costly, but we're providing an option for them to set both of those aside and just go try it out. And we can get them up and running in a day, right? The same day. They could have everything they need and start sharing it out with individual staff members or interested family and residents, to at least take it for a test drive.
so let me try this and see if this works for you.
Yeah.
Two things: if you're an operator, if you don't have a digital communication platform because it's too expensive, too cumbersome, why not go try it for free? Think about signing up for free for Dropbox
Yeah.
or LinkedIn is another one, right? I mean, I'll bet most of the people watching this are using a free LinkedIn, fully functioning. There's lots of things you can't do. I don't have a free version. I use a paid version because I need the extra services. But for
Yeah.
a lot of you, it works fine.
That's right.
And if you have a platform that you hate, go dabble with this. See if you like it,
Yeah.
right? You might save yourself some money, have something easier to use, and the risk is essentially nothing.
Yeah. I mean, we are trying to take away all of the barriers to saying no. I so I get it that there's a lot of things that everybody has on their plate, and there's things that they need to do, and there's things that, take priority. And so something like this may continue to sort of drop down on the list of priorities, but we're taking away the financial risk associated with it. We're taking away sort of the I guess the overall adoption risk of it. Try it out today, see if it works.
Cool.
If it does, let's explore some of the other features and figure out how we make it even more effective for your community.
Cool. So if you want to try it out, you're intrigued by this, you'll find the link in this post.
Yep.
And we'd love to hear how it goes.
So that's kind of the getting started piece, right? When we think about the simplicity around usability, we built this from the ground up over the last sort of year and a half, 2 years, kind of right as COVID hit. But it uses, what we think is a really clean, intuitive, and modern interface to it. So when we look at the mobile app, everything in there is very familiar if you use a mobile device and use mobile apps for other things that you do on your mobile device, right? So it's very intuitive for how to interact with it and what to expect when you do something within the mobile app. We think the same holds true on the admin side of things. So when they're creating activity calendars or putting out media and putting out their daily menu, all of this is really intuitive, from very straightforward form to fill out, set up repeating cadences and things if needed. But it's really intuitive for people to use. We don't expect people are going to be in it daily. They've got tons of other stuff to do, right? So inherently, it needs to be intuitive. When you go in, you need to know exactly where you need to go. It should be clear where you need to go to do something, right? You don't want to dig through just a morass of settings and different bells and whistles and things. There's a ton that we can do and things that we can turn on and off and customize it for each community for their specific needs. But for what they're doing on a regular basis, most of that stuff doesn't even need to be front of mind for them.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. Well, listen, I think that the free to try model with something that you can use is crazy cool, compelling, that everyone ought to try it and see if it works for them. And if it works, then you become delighted to pay for those things because it serves you well and it makes life for your residents, for your team members, for your family members better. So
yeah, and I think building on that as well, I think the other thing is that it's not just free to try, but if you commit to a paid version with us, it's not a lifetime commitment. We're not getting married, right? This isn't forever. If you decide that something better comes along and or your needs change or something happens and you want to move away from us, we hope that you don't, but we think that puts a lot of responsibility on us to continue to innovate and create useful features and things so that we are providing sort of the best value and experience for all the users.